Ooh, wow, that cracked. Let's start over there. A little phlegm in the throat. Jeez. So that's what porn stars feel like.
All right, just take a couple seconds and go.
Straight out of Gotham, a crazy podcast about DC, with your hosts E-Rock and PD. When we speak up, get your geeks up, cause you know you about to get geeked up. So sit back, relax, and get comfy. Lose your mind like Solomon Grundy, and listen to a show that won't be forgotten. Coming straight out of Gotham.
And hello, everyone out there in Central City. Welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Gotham, episode 118. We are a fandom pop culture podcast and a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by BatmanOnFilm.com. To check out all the other great shows on our network that we associate with, please head on over to BOF, click the podcast drop down, and see what everyone has to offer. You won't regret it, and you'll probably never check another network again. I'm your co-host on the other side of the Hudson River. I'm a senior contributor to Batman on Film. I'm Peter R. Rivera. Today we're recording May 27th, 2023. As always, I have a great show for you today, but I'd like to remind you, all of our faithful listeners, if you take the time to rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts, and we read your review on air, you've just won our Straight Outta Gotham monthly contest, so please get those reviews in like your Rotten Tomatoes, because we all know you like to be a critic. Now, let me introduce you to my partner in crime, the man who led the Aqua Knights to 1997 NBA Aqua Finals, a BUF junior contributor, Eric Holzman.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Yes, I had a good time. Aqua Knights.
How long was the Aqua NBA in around for? Because I feel like
it was one season.
Short-lived.
It was one season.
How does it feel to be less successful than the WNBA?
Well, at least I can say, that we had our moment in time, and it was, it was fun.
You're kind of like Tommy Maddox and the LA Extreme. You won that one XFL title and the league folded.
Yeah, like that's what you do. At least I could say, we're the all-time winningest team in Aqua NBA history, and that's all that matters. I have to add that to the list of accomplishments that,
all you do is win and win championships.
It's true. We were pitched this idea. I was just graduating, I left a year early from college to go to the Aqua NBA. And, I never looked back. How
did that affect your water polo career?
It didn't, they were different seasons, The Aqua NBA is
Look at you, Bo Jackson.
Yeah, so I was able to do both.
Okay.
And both effectively. So it was awesome.
You're an unstoppable force.
I met some really cool people doing it. Like, it was just a lot of fun. We have our reunions every once in a while. We get together, me and the rest of the team. A lot of fun.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Speaking of meeting new people, if you were living in the greater North Carolina area, and all of a sudden your mom vanished for a weekend, chances are she was at Eric's hotel room, because Eric was out getting it in.
Yeah, last weekend I went and hung out with Mr. Ryan Haas for the weekend and saw Fast 10 and ate a lot of bad Southern food that I would not normally eat.
How many cinnamon buns did you eat?
No, I didn't have any, but I did have this.
Really? I feel like you guys would have at least had a cinnamon bun. You guys love those gigantic.
Yeah, no, we didn't. They did have, the one place we went to did have them, but I didn't get one. I figured I'd be good. I got this cheesecake thing instead, which was very good, by the way.
Yeah.
But the thing, we ate at this breakfast with these biscuits, and dude, the biscuits,
biscuits
you guys
and
can't
gravy.
see it, but it was like, no. This was a biscuit, probably about this round, this big. Like, I'm showing Pete, guys, so you can't see it.
So we're talking about a burger-sized biscuit?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
And then the one I got had, what's it called? Cube steak on it.
Ooh.
With an egg on top of it.
I love egg on. Oh, yeah.
Smothered in beer cheese.
What is beer cheese?
You've never had beer cheese?
I've never had beer cheese.
Oh.
Kowalski.
It's basically, it's like a dip, a cheese dip, but that's made with, you put beer in it. It's got a little bit of a beer flavor to it. And they poured that on top of the
I'd love that on my cheesesteak. Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like
Okay.
there's some restaurants that do have it on the menu. If you go there, so you might be able to get it certain places. Some pubs are famous for it, but it's fantastic. And that was just ridiculous. Like that place we went to, it's a small little diner, but it was fantastic. And then I kept trying to corrupt Haas and go to these
strip clubs.
Breweries. No, these breweries. I kept trying to. Last Sunday, the day I left, the day we went to this place, we had an hour wait, and there was a brewery in the same area, so I went there beforehand. So I was.
This is what he said. He said you went full Halseyman and just vanished on him for a little bit.
I did. I vanished for a bit, and I went to the. He found me, but
gotta catch them all.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was a really good weekend, a good time, good little escape to get away for a bit. We also, on the Friday, we went to this museum that they were showing the Batman 66 movie, and they had like
what was that like seeing on the big screen?
It was different. I'll say that it's something I've only ever seen on television. Mm-hmm. So it was cool watching it on a bigger screen. There's certain scenes in it are magnified, obviously, so you can see more of the screen at certain times, so you notice things going on that I never noticed before. But yeah, man, that movie is so ridiculous. Every time I watch it, I say the same thing. It's so ridiculous. And they had this like Q&A session afterwards, and this woman who was on the promotional tours for the show, who played Batgirl, it wasn't Yvonne Craig, it was this other girl, I forget her name. She was there. She was like answering questions and stuff. She's been to Comic-Cons and stuff like that. I can't remember her name, but we've probably seen her before in New York Comic-Con, just didn't know who she was. But it was cool. She talked about Adam West and Burt Ward and what they were like. And she said Burt Ward was really the adult in all those situations. Like he was the one like, no, we have this to do, kept trying to keep them on schedule.
And Adam West was too busy trying to get it in.
Yeah, Adam West was too busy for her to, yes, that's what she said. So it was cool. That was cool to hear, get a little bit of history on that their relationship. But yeah, I just had a good time, good weekend. So next time you're going to have to come.
Did you play any Nintendo?
I didn't, but Haas was playing the new Zelda game. And let me tell you, that's not your grandfather's Legend of Zelda. I'll tell you that.
It's not your gold cartridge Zelda?
No. It is certainly not. The game looks so much fun. He said it's like 300 hours of gameplay, something ridiculous like that. Mm-hmm. But it looked like, I told him, I said, no, you play. I'll observe because this is like watching a movie. It was great.
Okay. All right. There you go. Eric likes to watch people play video games. He's a 15-year-old kid on YouTube.
Seriously, my nephews do it. And I was thinking about that when I'm watching. I'm like, this is what my nephew does.
They watch other people play video games.
Yeah. I'm like,
Instead of playing a 2-player game, let me just watch you.
I'm like, I always joke with him about that. I said, and now I'm doing the exact same thing. So
there you go. The son becomes the father and the father the son.
Seriously. So, Pete, we've been discussing something for the fans. So why don't you let's put it out there. Let's tell them what we've been talking about. And
we're gonna hold a contest, and we want to basically the whole point is we want to invite a non-podcaster on the show. So what you're going to do is, and how you have to enter this contest is, you're going to email us a audio file at what is it? Was it straightog@gmail.com?
Straight OG Podcast.
straightogpodcast@gmail.com. You're gonna send us an audio file of why you like the show and why you think we should pick you. And as long as it sounds good, first of all, because we want you to submit the file because we want to make sure you have a mic. We want to make sure you have all the equipment.
Yes.
So as long as it sounds good, we like your reasoning. If you're funny, if you got a good zing, like anything, it doesn't. You don't have to kiss our ass. You just got to basically prove to us your audio quality is good. So, whatever it is, as long as it's, kind of piques our interest, we're going to select a winner from the submissions and we'll have you on before the end of the summer. But that's kind of it. So we're just going to hold a contest and we're going to have a guest who is a true fan, not a member of another podcast or another network or anything like that, but basically just someone who listens, not someone who's an active podcaster. So we want to just, pay it forward. Thank you for tuning in and giving us your download and your time and how many hours you've ever listened to us, and give you some time to just shoot the shit.
Yeah. So we will definitely link, put all the information out on the social medias. So Twitter, Pete will handle Instagram because I never go on it. I don't even think I have the credentials to get in. So Pete will handle Instagram. I'll do Twitter and Facebook and the group guys. Definitely get those submissions in. This will be fun. We like to interact with our fans, so it'd be fun to actually have one of you on and invite you into the madness that we call Straight Outta Gotham. We have a lot of fun, so it'd be fun to add you guys to the mix. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into our weekly topics, and we're going to start with the CW, actually. We're going to start with The Flash. The Flash ended this past week.
It's over.
Yes, it ended its 9-season run on the CW. Ties Arrow for the series length, same amount of time. Both did 9 years. I don't know episode wise if it's the same amount.
I thought Arrow did 8.
I think you might be right. I think Arrow might have only done 8. But it's finished. It's done. So Pete, I will let you go first, and you could talk about what you thought of season 9 as a whole, and then the 4-part finale that they did.
I think season 9 is kind of a microcosm of 9 seasons of The Flash. I think there's some really good episodes. I think there's some fluff. I think there's some crap. But overall, I enjoyed the hell out of everything, to be honest with you. I mean, the Red Death was probably the crap, but still, it was so insane and so ridiculous and something only the CW could do. I enjoyed it for what it was. A New World was really fantastic. I thought it was a wonderful way to get as many people involved over the 9 years as you could in those 4 episodes. There are a few people missing. Obviously, Cisco, Carlos Valdez was not in there.
Right.
And I think there was maybe one other character. Oh, who was it? I forget who it was, but I think they said they tried to get what's his name? Damien Dismachel. He's the
David Machine. Yeah.
Yeah. He was one of the cameos they wanted to get, but they couldn't, I believe. So I think they did a fantastic job cramming as much as they did in the 4 episodes. I could do a whole hell of a lot. I did characters like Cecile and Allegra. I didn't need much. They got their times to shine though. Those are probably some of the things that I didn't like, but overall I thought the Barry and Iris stuff was really cool. And to tie it all in together, the final episode to bring back all the speedster villains. Basically, they brought back everybody but the Thinker. So they brought back all the speedster villains for one giant final fight, and Eddie Thawne came back, and it was a cool way to conclude everything. It really was. I think they did a good job for their continuity and what they're known for, and it could have been a hell of a lot worse. But I'll tell you what, man, Tuesdays aren't going to be the same after these 9 years. I remember the first 7 years, me and my buddy Connor watched every episode for 7 years, until I moved, and then he moved. And then things just got really crazy. And, that show always have a special place in my heart, especially because it debuted in a time where there wasn't much. Oh, I believe it was just Arrow.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I do think, and I've discussed this with Haas, I think the show would actually have been received better if it debuted probably I'd say even 10 years earlier, because I think it catches a lot of heat because there's just so many options right now. Whereas I think it's just as good as Smallville. But if you put Smallville next to all these other shows in this continuity now, I bet you Smallville gets ripped apart for its cheesy vest and its ridiculousness. So, I think in the time frame, because there's just so much going on, people could critique it in a way. Whereas if it was just the only option, I think a lot more people would have loved it. Even though a lot of people do love it for what it is, but I think sometimes it gets a bad rap, but it's not the best, but they did a damn good job in my opinion. And I'll always love the CW universe and what it brought, because I had a lot of fun with it. It really was a fun ride for 10 years. 10 years, because Arrow started a year before. So
yep,
it's been a really fun decade, between Arrow, Black Lightning, Supergirl, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. All those crossovers were fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool at a time when we didn't think we can get DC to cross over anything. They had a whole network doing it.
I know.
So that was a good time, and some things dipped in quality, like Supergirl dipped at the end, and even Black Lightning a little bit at the 3-season run, and Batwoman just got started for its final season, in my opinion. But it was a good run, and I appreciate it. And I'll still watch these shows. I mean, I watch all 9 seasons of The Flash, but there are episodes, season 2, stuff like that. Like I can nitpick my favorite episode from any one of these shows and really enjoy it.
Yeah, from where the show began to where it ended, to me, is a huge cavern of quality early on in the show towards the end. I told you guys I didn't really watch after season 5, I think it was, and then I picked up this season because I knew it was the final season, so I figured I'd watch it. So I came into this season not knowing who Allegra was, who Chuck was, I had no idea who these people were. So I kind of wish it would have stayed that way. I knew who Cecile was vaguely, but I didn't know she had powers. And now all of a sudden she has powers. Like, it was very, very weird watching this season, not knowing all of the backstory of some of these characters.
Reading, Googling.
But to be honest, I kind of wish they would have just they would have figured something out to keep Cisco on and just the original people on the show, because that's what made the show good to me early on in those first few years. I know it would have been crazy to keep like Harrison Wells and still in the show, even though he was back. Like, he came back in the final episode.
He's made appearances. He never really went away.
Yeah, and he has like different roles and he's different things too. Like, he's a bunch of different Wells.
There was different Wells at one point, right? So at one point you were kind of like, can we just move on from the Wells stuff? Like, you're like, I wish they kept Harrison Wells. Meanwhile, I was like, you don't understand because you missed those 2 seasons where there were different Wells everywhere. At one point, you're like, enough with the Wells.
See, maybe if I watched it, I would have been there. But it was cool to see him back. Tom
Cavanaugh played a good villain. Like, whoever.
Yeah.
Ezra always had. I do think Grant did great as Barry, and I think Ezra has big boots to fill. I just naturally, he had 9 seasons. Right. That's a lot, and I think the same will go whoever gets cast as the new Reverse Flash, because I think Kavanaugh did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he was great. He was the first season, the first 2 seasons.
What was it? Eric Lancher isn't that the guy's other name who played the other version of the Reverse Flash? Like, they both did a hell of a job.
Yep, and it was good to see Eddie back. Like, that was cool how they kept flashing back. Really, the last 4 episodes are really mostly a flashback to season 1. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Right?
It's heavily involved. It's heavily involved season 1, season 2, like that era of Flash, and that's probably the best the show's ever been, in my opinion. Season 2, season 1, and season 2. I'll give you that. Like, the show's definitely better earlier on.
Yeah,
100%. Like, once the casting changes, it definitely takes a little bit of a dip. Because Chuck isn't as good as Cisco, and I can care less about Allegra.
I don't
and
know
then they
how
put them together, and I'm like, oh, I could care less about this.
I didn't know how she came to be, so like just watching her was weird for me this season.
It was like a villain at one point. They turned her, and she had like a cousin who was a bad girl, and it was a long journey, a lot of fluff.
Right. The one thing I will say is, as far as performances go, that Grant Gustin and Candace Patton were the same the entire 9 years, and I think since the show is basically about them, at least I could tell later on in the seasons when they put them together, it kind of became a soap opera about Barry and Iris.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why I kind of veered away, because I saw it going that way. And I was like, I know they're together in the comics and I know all of that is real, but seeing it play out on screen was a little different. So I think that's kind of why I veered away from the show, because it was getting too soap opera-y for me at that point. But I will say their performances were consistent through all the 9 seasons. I thought they had great chemistry on screen for both of them. That to see their arc kind of come to an end was very, very. That part was fulfilling. As anyone who's ever watched the show, I think it was fulfilling to see that their arc end on the note that it ended on. A lot of the things that Barry had foreseen happen in the future that he knew did happen, and we still don't know. If all the bad stuff's going to happen, right? Because all the stuff that he found. Well,
the timeline changed and everything. Right. Apparently, that's never going to happen.
But I will say this: having Nora holding baby Nora herself, that was a little strange. Like that was a little much for me watching this. I'm like, she's holding herself. and not
I thought it was good.
dirty way.
They definitely were like, and they were self-conscious about it too. She's like, am I breaking like time barrier laws?
Mhm.
Like, it's like, they had fun with it. So
Yeah, they did. That was strange. It was. I wish they could have brought
everything this
back.
season with Danielle Panabaker's character Keown was just like, oh god, why is this? What is this?
I agree with you. I thought it was cool how I'm spoiling the shit out of this guy, so I don't care if you haven't seen it yet or not. I thought it was cool how they made her, but she came back as Caitlyn at the end.
It was just, I don't know, this is so strange.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know
feel
what
like
you guys are doing.
Well, apparently there was a bigger arc for the character.
Well, yeah, remember this is only 13 seasons. That's how they agreed to get Grant to come back to do a 9th season, or
right.
Grant was going to call it quits.
Right.
So they did 13 instead of their normal like 22 episode season. So
Correct.
A lot of things were cut, and they even had plans for a season 10 if it was going to go that way, which sounded cool, to be honest. So
yeah, apparently, I mean, they were going to do some other crossover events, and one of them was the Blackest Night.
Which would be interesting because they don't have really Green Lantern.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I read that, I was like, but there's no Green Lantern. So what would they have
But
done?
they did have Deathstorm, and I don't know. So I would have been interested to see how they would have tried to pull it off. Maybe this would have been the chance to introduce Green Lantern.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe that would have been, because he talked about doing the Forever War.
Mm-hmm.
That was another one. Because he wanted to, and they said they were good. His original, the showrunner, I forget his name. What's his name? Hold on.
I can't remember.
Eric Wallace. He said that his original thought was to do a crossover not only with the CW people, but with Titans and Stargirl. And we did get some of that in Titans, right? In this last season of Titans, we got some of that. So all in all, I agree with you on the CW, Pete. I think
do we now fully believe that Titans takes place in the Arrowverse?
It must.
Right?
It must.
So that's that Batman?
Yeah, I guess so.
So then Batwoman is in, I don't know, like where is it? I guess it's got to be a timeline thing. I can't imagine them being in the same universe.
Yeah, I mean, Titans kind of pulls them in from different timelines, right? Like Beast Boy's going through different timelines. So it could be wherever that they had to be for the show to work. But I do agree with you about the CW all in all, the DC shows. They were around in a time where DC on film was kind of like up in the air. Not really sure what was going on.
Think about it, like, was it Arrow debuted in 13?
No, it was before then.
Was it?
11, I think.
2011? I thought Flash debuted in 14. I can't remember. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, because I'm saying that if you look at the timelines, it's definitely the best DC content probably for a while up until Wonder Woman. Because everything was so divided,
2012 it started. So it started in 2012.
So you're basically having the Snyderverse and the CWverse kind of going head to head against each other, and it seems like the things over at the CW were a little bit more smoother.
Right. Well, at first, obviously they didn't pick characters that they were going to use on screen, on big screen. So like there was no Superman until later on, until
Supergirl.
We're deep into the
and that doesn't start till a year after the Flash.
Right. And it started on CBS, if you remember. It was a CBS show. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And I feel like it gave the younger generation who maybe the movies were a little bit too mature for, it gave them something to watch because the shows were very much geared towards that specific age group. And that's another reason why I don't think it's for me anymore, just because I'm so much older. I can't relate to a lot of the things. I don't care about these little puppy love relationships that the characters are having. But I know that young kids get into that. So,
Eric, if there's one thing you love, it's puppy love.
Oh, no.
Because I heard you were doing the puppy eyes down North Carolina, and I heard them ladies were drooling over you like biscuits and gravy. They're like, we get some of that champion on Long Island. Come over here. Let me see that Long Island, boy.
I hope they didn't sound like that. Because
I hope they didn't either.
I was a little drunk then. If that
I was like, she drinks Bud Light.
I mean, I love puppies. I'll say that. I do love puppies. If you don't love puppies, you're evil.
What are you drinking? Come over here. Oh, don't tell Sally
No,
that's
they
murder.
better not sound like that either. That not gonna work.
Oh, you're the champion of Long Island. I heard about you on Straight Outta Gotham.
Oh man, now you make me forget my point. Totally forget my
The
point.
point is, you're just out there spreading the seed.
The point is,
Pain in the weeds.
point is, thank God. In a lot of ways, I want to say thank God the CW's over. These shows are over.
Yeah,
even though,
I mean, like I
even though
said,
we-
they
yeah.
took a dip.
yeah, even though we have Superman and Lois still and Gotham Knights, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Boy, the fans are really backing that show.
Dude, it is a little crazy how
Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? Gotham Knights is fun because it's different. It's bad, but it's enjoyable
bad.
because you're just sitting there laughing. You're like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe they made this. But you said that it's. I can watch it and have a good chuckle and enjoy it, and there's some moments where you're like, oh wow. At least
I'll say this. I'll say this. I originally said that it was a lot better than Gotham. Now it's only slightly better than Gotham for me. Because, man.
I admit I am behind. I'm probably 2 episodes behind.
Okay. I won't say anything.
Now the Flash is done. I can catch up on Gotham Knights. I'm actually behind on Titans as well. I know Titans ended months ago.
Yeah, I did watch all of it.
The last episode I saw was the Beast Boy episode, so I have
which is arguably the best episode of the season. So
I think it's actually the best.
Yeah,
it's funny. I think the episode stinks because I don't like the episode. I liked what they did at the end.
Okay,
so I like how they pulled it off. I just didn't like how they got there, in my opinion. And I'm a big Nyambi guy. Like me and Nyambi are friends. Like I feel bad for the dudes. I'm just like criticizing his work, but we're good dudes. So
I thought it was great. That one,
but yeah, it's definitely one of the better moments of that show, but yeah, like I got to catch up on my. I've been so focused on Flash and work.
Dude, Gotham Knights. I'll say this. It's consistent in that it knows what it's doing and it stays there. I'll give it that. That's
how I can enjoy it.
Yeah, it doesn't try and be something it's not.
And I've never once said this was like Sopranos or like Cheers. I never once said this was like going to be game-changing television. All I said was take the stick out of your asses, watch the show, and just enjoy it for its ridiculousness. Just that's it. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's the stupid Batman-related thing that you could just sit back and drink for every time you think it's ridiculous. And by the end, you're drunk.
That, actually.
And
as someone who enjoys the Court of Owls storyline, though, and that whole run, this is very tough to watch. I'll say that's very tough to
watching
watch.
the Talon, like his bones are broken and he comes back. I was like, this looks like this, like that part. Like this is like, what's it called? What was the name? Tales from the Crypt at the end when it got
yeah.
Sometimes it's like that, and then Harvey's out there just sleeping around. I love it, and I've been reading Steve's recaps. I'm really excited for what they're doing because it sounds absurd.
But I will say, doing Harvey Dent the way they're doing it is really, really smart. And it's a way that it could have worked. It could have worked on the big screen too. Like they definitely could have done something like this and people could have bought it. So I think it's genius.
Weird with Bruce being dead. It's weird having Harvey and not Bruce. Well, like the two kind of go hand in hand. They
created a child. They created a child for the show.
A masculine child. I come here, Don Corleone, and I wish your daughter and her husband a lovely family and a wonderful child. May he be a masculine child. That's not how it goes. But,
but that's what they did. They created an entirely new character.
Turner.
Yeah.
Taylor.
And that's why the show worked, though.
R.I.P. to Tina Turner.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
R.I.P. to Tina.
But apparently my feelings are not shared by the majority of fans, though, because there is
the majority of people in the Batman on Film Facebook group. Sucks to suck, suckers.
What?
Because everyone's always giving me shit about that show, and I enjoy it. And now I'm like, the fans are backing us. No death threats, no hashtags, just good, clean fun.
It's bad, though. Like,
it's fine. It's okay. It's on the CW. Nobody's watching it.
I guess.
The only people who are watching it are the same people who listen to our podcast. It's the same audience.
That's true. The same. Well, I don't. But not even them. Like not even they're watching it.
That's what I'm saying. It's not good. Is it bad for the brand? No. Why? Because no one knows it exists.
It's not bad for the brand because it's so off-brand.
Yeah,
you can make a case that they just took like little snippets and like, okay, we're gonna
this is basically the equivalent of Birds of Prey.
Yes.
Oh, we can do this. We can do that. It's not really Batman, but it's kind of like Batman. It's essentially the same philosophy.
I mean, Duella is a great character. Like she's fantastic. That is.
I think the girl who plays Robin's really good, Carrie Kelly. I think she's fantastic. The little Robin girl. I wish they would give her an actual suit. She deserves more of a Robin suit than Tim Licurgo, whatever his name is.
You'll see she does get enhancements coming in the next couple episodes. So you will see some
they've slowly
some changes.
She's recently got goggles. So
yes. So they're going there. If there's a second season, she might piece by piece finally get a complete Robin suit. I have no idea. But yeah, the fans love it. It's like fans are backing it, even though it's a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. It does kind of have a BVS type following, right? Like fans love it.
Cult following. Yeah, they're cult following.
It does have that, and fans are fighting for it. They want it to stay around. Which
GKG, Gotham Knights groupies, bitches.
Yep, that's what we're calling them. Yeah, so. Who knows? There still obviously hasn't been any decision made on the CW shows, the DC CW shows.
Which almost sounds kind of damning in my ears.
Yeah, well...
No decision is almost as bad as a decision, if you're not saying it publicly.
Well, Brad Schwartz, who is the president of entertainment at the CW, said that all of those shows are still on the bubble. This is what he said. We're still looking at those, analyzing these shows and looking at our budgets in 2024. We love all of those shows and they all do very well for us in different ways. We will be making decisions on those probably sooner than later. He did also say that Superman and Lois was one of their strongest shows. So it sounds like if they keep any of them, it will be Superman and Lois. So I don't know how you all feel about that, Gotham Knights fans.
We'll see what the GKG has to say.
But also All American Homecoming is another one that apparently is also on the chopping block. So we will see what happens, but still no decision there. And if there is a season, it wouldn't be until early 2024, maybe even now mid to late 2024 because of the writer's strike. So who even knows what's going on there?
All I know is Gotham Knights has the backing of a fan base filled with passion and heart.
Heirs.
And you people, all of you, didn't believe me that it would happen.
Did it? Wait, what?
That we would all love the show. Everyone would talk about it, regardless of how good it was. And that's what's happened. Word of mouth is kicked out. People are interested. They find the show interesting enough to keep watching. People find it interesting enough to enjoy. And now they're interested enough to fight for it. We've got a smash hit in our hands. The Knights are back.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Okay. Yeah,
baby. Ozimon, go.
I don't concur, but okay.
That's it.
But honestly, no. I mean, if they keep it around, great, fantastic. I don't know if I'll keep.
If Gotham Knights beats Superman and Lois, it is going to break the internet. People are going to complain for 24 hours, only 24 hours, because something new will pop up the next day, and people will complain loudly for 24 hours. Why
can't they just do this as like a straight to streaming CW show? Right, like let us have it.
They used to have what was called the CW Seed. I think that was a streaming only app.
Yeah,
that had their own stuff.
Throw it there.
I don't know. Maybe it's too expensive. Maybe it's like it's a quadruple.
Hold on a minute. Time out. We were just talking about how Carrie Kelly doesn't even have a legitimate Robin suit, and you're gonna tell me it's too expensive to make? Did you see the Batman mask they put on Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, but maybe it's just that weird limbo where it's too expensive for streaming. You know, I have no idea, but like I don't know like budgets and stuff. So I'm just trying to think like why they wouldn't do that. But like who else like would Netflix make this show? I don't know.
There was a time they would have. I don't know if they would now.
Would they license it out? Like with the writer's strike, are they even like, is this show just going to come out and just, whatever?
I don't know. But unfortunately, we won't know for the time being. We don't know. We don't know what's
going on. All I know is the fans are backing it. The fans are vocal. And I told you this is going to happen.
All right, Pete. You can have your pat on the back.
That's right. Both hands, please. Both shoulders. Got two of them. Might as well use them.
Well, the writer's strike is impacting other things, and one of those things is Marvel's Thunderbolts. So it was supposed to start shooting next month in Atlanta, but because of the writer's strike, that is not happening. So,
man, this writer's strike, I think this, is it just because I'm older now, or does this seem like it's impacting way more things than it was in 2007?
I think it's the way we get information now. We just know more. Mm-hmm. That's it. I just think that we just have access to this information where before that was in the very early stages of social media. So we didn't get stuff as quickly, but now we know things immediately. So
my favorite story from like the writer's strike of 07 is Nolan and Bale walking into Burbank saying Justice League Mortal done. No, not till I'm finished. Then they were like, all right.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. There's really nothing else to say. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, that's my favorite story.
I do think it's cool that we're seeing like Matt Reeves pick it with them, and then apparently
Colin Farrell was picking.
Yeah, because
Susan Sarandon, who's in Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
who's picking. Yeah.
Well, the Penguin actually shut down because of the picketers being there where they were shooting. So they're supposed to
shoot. It shut down for a significant time, almost 4 days. I know there's conflicting reports. Some people saying it was only 1 day. Right. Some were saying it's 4, but it was Tuesday through Thursday.
Yes.
So and then, Colin's been picketing on the front lines in New York. Yep. That's where they're filming. So, unless he doesn't have a scene that day, I guess you're not shooting without him or whatever. But, it's affected the Penguin.
Yeah, it has. I mean, the shoots have been staggered, as you said. They shut down for 4 days. They were supposed to then shoot apparently on Friday, and they did, or they started to do the shoot. But they were shut down on Tuesday and Wednesday. They were supposed to be shooting in Harlem, and the picketers showed up first, so the shoot didn't happen. So this is...
Maybe that's how you get a good look at the set. You just kind of pick up a picket sign and see how far you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it sucks in a lot of ways.
It sucks, but I'm totally with the writers on this.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with them.
We kind of gave a quick breakdown of what the how far the gap was on the last show. Remember, we spoke about they wanted like 800. It was something like 400 or 500 million, and then the producers were offering like 50 or some. I forget the exact numbers, but it was some kind of weird gap in pay or in total compensation. So I don't know if they've come any closer. I haven't been keeping tabs on the negotiations, but if they're even negotiating, I don't even know if that's happening. So
the one thing that actually doesn't seem to be affected by the writer's strike is Deadpool.
Yes.
They're going for it.
Yes. Deadpool is continuing. They're saying that they can't do any improv,
which is crazy because that's what Ryan Reynolds. It's like Ryan Reynolds and Bill Murray are known for their improvisational skills.
I know.
I don't think Ryan Reynolds sticks to the script at all. Like I don't like shut. I think you should just shut it down.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, really? They're not allowing any improv?
Does that mean? I guess because that means you're rewriting the script technically.
Yes, I think, and then. Yes,
no one's actually handing you a piece of paper. I don't know.
Right, and if the improv becomes part of the script, or they have to write it into the script, then there's obviously script writing going on there, and I think that's the reason why. So what probably is going to happen is they'll keep shooting, and they'll keep shooting Deadpool during the strike, and then whatever happens, they won't. If there is improv, they won't do it till after the strike is done.
Interesting.
That's my guess.
I read that. I found that interesting. That it's funny because it's a Marvel production.
Yes.
You have an actor who relies heavily on his quips and his quick thinking.
Yes.
Thunderbolts is shut down. Echo is shut down. Daredevil shut down. Deadpool keep going. It just doesn't make sense.
Echo's not really shut down.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Echo's not. I think it's done, actually.
Echo was being shut down.
Yeah, Echo should have been apparently shut down.
Yeah,
Echo should have never been made, from what I heard.
Yeah, so Jeff Snyder from the Hot Mic podcast, and I'm sure a lot of you follow him on Twitter. He was recently on the podcast talking about the production, and he said, this is what he said. He heard I heard the show was kind of plagued by issues throughout production. I heard it was a mess and that the show came in so bad that they basically had to reshoot the entire thing. I'm told that they originally shot eight episodes and Kevin Feige thought it was unreleasable, so they talked about cutting it down to 4 or 6 in post. But then they ended up reshooting the whole thing, so they don't know how many episodes it actually is.
So they were shot like 2 seasons.
Yeah. And Feige was not happy with what they had. So
that's interesting. Echo and Blade have been big problems for them, apparently.
I know. I don't know what it is, but apparently everything's on the way back to being okay. It's going to come out eventually, but yeah, the Kevin Feige, when you hear that, I know he gives notes and stuff on things, but when he's basically like, no, we have to reshoot the entire thing, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. TV shows are a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like, any live production is a lot of work, but I mean, to reshoot a whole season, this sounds like a Justice League level mess.
It does.
If let's be honest. Remember, everyone criticized everybody because they can't reshoot Justice League in all this amount of time. That's basically what they did. They reshot the whole movie. I can't imagine it's like reshooting an entire TV show. I mean, it's a movie takes months to make. A TV show is how many? I mean, 8 episodes, at least an hour, 8 hours. Christ.
Right. So it's probably double that shoot time, or
Yeah.
So you figure
That's a good
whatever they shot. And I just wonder how bad it was. Now I kind of want to know how bad it was. I kind of want to see the original.
It's the new Batgirl. Echo.
Yeah,
the new Batgirl.
I want to see how bad it actually was, because again, I know Kevin Feige is, he has his hands in everything and he's allowed to do that. But to basically say, this doesn't work at all. If I was the director and the writer, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, what the hell? But we'll see.
It's also interesting because he's very hands-on. So for it to get to, it makes me wonder how much he was actually paying attention to this. If it got to the dailies or to his desk, and he was like, "Yeah, we can't do this." Like how much are you actually paying attention to what's going on here?
Right. I mean, they had so many things going on probably while this was being shot.
Well, that's why we've heard months ago, like they're considering lighting their load. They've said they're going to slow down a little bit. Maybe they just bit off more than they can chew within the last 2-3 years.
Very fair. That's a very fair point. It's very possible.
And a lot of people seem to agree because the quality of the MCU seems to have dipped to the point where people are not happy with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people had issues with She-Hulk. A lot of people had issues with Ant-Man. A lot of people had issues with
Doctor Strange.
Which I don't get because I
don't either. I loved it, but
I haven't seen Guardians. It seems mostly positive.
Yes.
Yeah. Hawkeye made it out pretty good.
No,
Spider-Man
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder was mixed.
Yep.
So Wakanda Forever. While people liked it,
it wasn't the first one, right?
It wasn't. It wasn't anywhere near that, and for obvious reasons.
Right.
So yeah, the MCU kind of
Moon Knight. It was not.
A lot of people, it's another one. People had problems with Moon Knight as well.
Yep.
So they've taken a couple hits to the armor here.
Yeah.
Usually they don't get any backtrack or criticism, but lately it seems like everyone's just, happy with DC and upset with Marvel. That's weird.
I feel like, that happens when you raise the bar. Everyone expects you having to meet or exceed the bar, and if you do subpar work,
for DC has been very low.
Yeah, I mean, for how long have we gone into DC movies just being like, I just hope it's entertaining? Like that's that's kind of what the mantra has been. Like, it doesn't have to be the greatest movie ever. I just hope it's fun to watch, which, some of them have been.
I said that about Black Adam. No one agreed with me.
I did. I agreed with you.
Yeah,
I still enjoy that movie. Shazam 2 as well. I enjoyed it.
Shazam's great.
So yeah, I mean, well, one movie that is coming now, it's 3 weeks away, is The Flash.
Oh God.
And we have had, now there have been some early screenings that people have gotten to see. Apparently everything we heard going in has been confirmed by most of the fans. They love it. We have friends who have seen it who have said it's fantastic, who they love it. It's none of them have gone what James Gunn said. It's the best comic book movie ever made, but
it's hard to beat Zack Snyder's Justice League.
That's true, which is the best ever.
Define
hands down,
masterpiece.
Masterpiece. Fantastic. Anyway, apparently there's a lot of this movie revolves around the mother-son relationship very much. That's what we're getting from some of the stuff we're reading. Some of the fans have said that if you love your mother, go see this movie. So that's an interesting little thing, a tidbit that they dropped that maybe gives a little bit more insight as to how much the movie revolves around family and all of that. So I don't know, but yes, it's being... Everyone who's seen it,
everyone loves it. Apparently, it's not finished. There's going to be, there's going to be stuff added to it. The people who saw the advanced screening did not see the final film. Apparently, there's post credit scene stuff being added. So, that sounds like great for fun. Get you back in there for a second viewing if you saw it already. I know I'm going to see it on the 15th at 3.
I will as well. Yes, I will be.
Also, programming note: come June 1st, Straight Outta Gotham is going to go Flash Black. Social media is going to probably be absent, so don't check the Twitter feed because I know so many little monsters are trying to spoil things on Twitter, and I won't let you do it. I'm just not going to log on to the app. Stop being an asshole. You can be an asshole all you want. I'm not going to participate. So just if you rely on the feeds for anything, just know we're going black June 1st. The next time you'll hear from us will be the 17th when we do our post-Flash show. We've been doing mostly 2-week episodes anyway, so we'll extend it a week just so nobody screws it with me. And I'm talking about you, Zednik. You like to spoil movies. So I'm keep my eyes out for those two.
I'm not going completely black. I'm not going completely black.
I can't risk it. It's already out there. I'm already risking it.
I've muted almost everything I could mute regarding this film, so I'm pretty safe unless someone the only time that it gets past that is when someone shares it. That I don't understand that, but that seems to happen when someone is a friend or a follower and they share something.
I'm sticking to Instagram and Hasbulla, and I'll be fine for 3 weeks.
So I'm not, because I have other reasons to be on Twitter, so that's why I'm. I don't
even think the Flash is coming out in Dagestan, so Hasbulla doesn't even know about it.
That's true. He's probably gotten to one. He probably got to see one of the early fan screenings, though.
He probably saw it in Dubai.
Yeah, possibly.
He's amazing.
So he is.
He's 4 feet of amazing.
Like I said, if you're having a bad day, just watch one of his videos and you'll smile and laugh.
He's absolutely incredible.
It is.
I could watch that little run jump into a pool all day. Also, because of Hasbulla, I can speak some Russian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, bomba means awesome.
Nice. I didn't even know that.
That's all I got. Bomba.
See? Another thing that's coming and that I'm really looking forward to, and we talked about this a little bit on the last show, is Secret Invasion. That's the one Marvel property I think both of us are very, very excited about. And Don Cheadle, who obviously plays War Machine, Colonel Rhodes, recently spoke about his role in the show and how it's different than what we've seen from Rhodey in the past. So he said, Rhodey's got a new role in this one. Our very first scene is Rhodey and Nick Fury locking horns. Rhodey isn't an adversary, but he's being more adversarial than he has been before. That's always been Rhodey's cross to bear. Is he going to stay within the confines of being a military man following the chain of command, or is he going outside the box? So we've obviously seen the trailer. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen clips of him, and there's the one clip of him and Fury speaking. So we know that. But this is kind of like Tony's role in Civil War, right? Like,
I was getting Civil War and like Iron Man 2 vibes from this, kind of like how he describes Rhodey.
Right.
That's kind of what I was getting at. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm really anticipating seeing that relationship because in most of the MCU, they're obviously on the same wavelength, but this one they're clearly not. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out in the film. I'm sorry, in the show. It was supposed to be a film in the show. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very cool
I wonder
relationship.
what the Rhodey to War Machine ratio is going to be.
That's fair.
You know, I mean, because I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of War Machine. I think it's just going to be Rhodey.
Probably. We'll probably get more of Cheadle just being Rhodey, and that's awesome. Like I like,
it just fits the context of what the story's kind of about. Like this feels very espionage, thriller, government kind of corruption type deal, right? Like,
right. What they're basically trying to do is rehome the Skrulls in this, based off of what we know from everything that happened in Captain Marvel and post that. So that's basically what the show's about. And as we know, if you know the comic storyline, that's the secret invasion that we're talking about.
You know, I recently read that for the first time not too long ago and was not impressed with it.
Okay.
Because I remember Secret Invasion when it came out, I think it was like 07. And it was huge to do. And I just didn't have a whole lot of money in 07 to spend on comic books, right? Like I was, I was just a lifeguard. I wasn't making a lot of money. So I had to be a little more picky. But yeah, so I finally read it and I was not really impressed. And it's a Bendis book. And so I'm interested to see what the show brings to the table.
Yeah, it's how can I put this?
It's like a fine souffle I baked for 3.5 hours, Holzman style, in my oven.
No, it's a different kind of a story. So I think it's not something that we're used to consuming in the Marvel type thing.
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers was, you know what I'm talking about? Not Attack of the Clones. It's a stupid Star Wars movie.
Yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, right? That's
Attack of the Clones. That's for you, Rick Shoe.
Yeah, if you guys could see our names in our setup today for Zencaster, you'd see Rick Shoe's name.
The legend that is Rick Shoe.
All right, moving right along, we have a movie that's being moved, but not by too many days. Paramount has bumped up its nationwide release for the CG animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem from Friday, August 4th to Wednesday, August 2nd. Why?
So Lauer is very excited. He gets to see it 2 days earlier.
Why they're doing it, I still don't know.
I think Lauer had to be at some sort of Batman book club conference.
That's probably what it was.
They moved it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, okay, Lauer, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, wow. That's pretty crazy. I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, well, the kid's all hopped up on sugar running around. You got to give him some time. Or he's like, Halseyman. Like, okay, calm down, Ryan. Calm down. Halseyman. He's like, he's like a little kid. He gets excited when he plays with the Halseyman.
We could do our own comic based off of the characters you've made us. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Can you imagine like Ryan Lauer having a conversation with Steve Helm? Like, comic books. I go down to the house to the store and down there, hang on, there's a bacon with the ribs and everything. I like fruits. Like, okay, like, you two get away. It's like I can't do this anymore. Like, separate. You both go to corners.
Maybe they'll be on the show together. That'd be fantastic. If you had both of them on the show.
Maybe. I mean, if Lauer wants to, catch up on Gotham Knights, he can join us in our Gotham Knights finale show.
That's true. That's a good point.
We keep waiting for when they announce the mid-season break, like they famously do for all the CWs. But I think for Gotham Knights, it's so popular, they're just going to run it through.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting choice of words, because I'm sure some people, after watching it, are going to want to run it through. For sure.
Like, this show's great. We got to hop on social media and fight for it like everybody else.
Okay. Well, we have some casting news. And one is actually just an overarching story about the search for Superman, the new search for Superman. We know that James Gunn's Superman's Legacy is written, and they're beginning to start casting for it. Now, they have sources say that a certain group has stood out from the rest, and they've submitted screen tests. David Corenswet, who was in Pearl, Mia Goth, the one movie starring Mia Goth, he is apparently one of the top contenders to play Superman. Now, he's also the guy that everyone says looks exactly like Henry Cavill. So obviously, looks-wise, he would fit. I think that would be.
So that means Superman Legacy is a prequel to Man of Steel. So that means
don't stop.
That means we're restoring this. We did it, guys. Our fan base. We fought hard online, and we got our universe back. We did it.
Oh God, I knew you were going to go there. Anyway, Jacob Elordi, who's from you guys. If you watch Euphoria, I know he's one of the bad guys on Euphoria. He's also one of the people in running for Superman as well. As for Lois Lane, we have Emma Mackey, who is the star, one of the stars of the Netflix series Sex Education, and Rachel Brosnahan, who everyone should know is the marvelous Mrs. Maisel herself. She's actually been on, I've seen her on talk shows when people have asked her about Lois Lane, and she hasn't really spoken about it. She's the one but she's the oldest one of the group. She's 32.
Oh, yeah, she's out.
So she could play younger, obviously, but that's one of the reasons people are throwing her name, saying maybe not. Phoebe Dinevor, I guess that's how you say it.
Phoebe Buffay?
Yeah, Phoebe Buffay from Bridgerton. She's also in the running, and Samara Weaving, who we all last saw in Scream 6 getting butchered in the alley. She's another one who's in the running for Lois Lane. So I like all of those choices for the females. I'm partial to David Corenswet for Superman. Another actor who was rumored that people thought was for Superman was Nicholas Hoult, but apparently he's being earmarked for Lex Luthor. So Pete, we might be getting yet another.
We already know what Holt looks like bald, so this might be he might have the advantage here.
Right,
from his time in Mad Max.
Right. So, are you familiar with any of the names I mentioned
outside of Holt? No.
Okay.
Who is the final girl you mentioned for Lois? Was she the professor?
Samara Weaving.
What girl was she in Scream?
She's the first one in Scream.
She's
Scream
the professor who got killed in the
who got killed in the alley. Yes.
Yeah. Is that her real accent?
Yeah. No, she's British.
She is British.
Yeah. So
she had the accent in the movie. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Brits can play Americans. They can do the accent really well. So that's interesting. She'd have to get a dye job. She was blonde, right?
Yes.
So we'll see. I don't really, outside of Holt, I don't know anybody except for the girl who got killed in Scream. But Holt, that's a good. I never would have thought of that. But I like it. I'm trusting James Gunn in casting here.
Well, if I had to choose, Corenswet for me would be Superman.
Is that the Cavill guy?
Yes, he looks.
Yeah, we got to connect this back to Man of Steel.
So, well, that's funny when you talk to people about it. He's like, he looks too much like Cavill. I'm like, so what? Like, what is that? Why does that even factor in? Who cares? Cavill's look was not the reason why he wasn't a good Superman. That's one of the reasons.
He didn't talk.
Right, like pretty much. They didn't give him much. They didn't give him much of a personality. That's what it was.
After Man of Steel, his lines were very limited, and that includes both versions of Justice League.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't understand that. Elordi would be fantastic. He's really good in Euphoria, so he'd be fine.
Everyone's good on that show. Everyone loves that show. So
it's a great show.
When you mention someone cast from that show, like I don't know who that guy is, but I know everyone loves that show, and I know everyone loves Zendaya in that show. That's basically why I hear about it all the time. So I'm like, well, if you got a good actor on a great show, chances are he knows his shit and he can do anything. So I'm all for it.
I agree. Gunn is very. He says it's very important to him. He completely relates to him because he's everything I am, which I think is very high praise for saying that for somebody. Like I would never say I'm very much like Superman, but hey, he feels he is. So
yeah, I was like, you're not like Superman, bro. He's like, he's an alien. I'm an alien. I'm like, you're not an alien. Stop it. You just have a weird haircut.
Yeah. Like he tried to say the whole outsider thing. Like he was an outsider.
No, I get it. But
I would never make that.
Dude, you're not really an outsider. You're just a nerd.
Yeah. I would never make that comparison and say I'm like Superman. That's just way too high of a bar.
I just think the whole like I'm an outsider, like that whole like comparison, like you stop, was like go outside, meet a friend. You're not an outsider. People like what you like. Like you go to a comic book store, there's tons of people there who like your stuff. Just talk to somebody. Stop it. You don't isolate yourself. You're not an outsider. There's people out there who like your shit, man.
Yeah,
God's honest truth, man. Like, how many friends have we made who have similar interests to us that we found on Twitter? There's just go out there and find somebody and have a conversation.
it's true.
You're not really an outsider.
It's true. He's definitely not anymore. Maybe he was at one time,
not.
but he's definitely not anymore. So, all right, we have one more bit of actual casting news, which I think is weird, but I don't know what they're doing here. Chiwetel Ejiofor, who obviously played Mordo in Doctor Strange, he is going to be joining up with Tom Hardy in Venom 3.
Oh my God, Mordo is in Venom 3. It's really connected. You had Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and you have Mordo and Venom. Crossover.
I see. That's what I was thinking. Honestly, I wasn't. I wasn't lying. Like that's what I was like. Are they really going to do that? I don't know.
So Sony would. Marvel would not. Like Marvel's like they do stuff over there.
Yeah.
Sony's like, look, we made another crossover.
I know. So he's a fantastic actor. So adding him to the cast of Venom 3 can only help the movie. Now, we have to see if the story is
actually made some. And they also got Fabian Wagner as their cinematographer. So Fabian from Justice League fame. He's gonna shoot the movie. So at least they're in good hands behind the lens. The writer's strike can only be helping Venom 3. The writer's strike can only be benefiting that movie.
Well, Tom Hardy also didn't he release a photo of the script? I think he did.
Is it blank?
So I don't know.
Oh my God. I don't know how far along they are in that, but
yeah, I don't know.
Venom 2. God bless you, Nico. You have a good soul.
Venom 2 was rough.
That's rough, man. That was rough. I really wanted to like that movie.
I had more fun with Venom 2 than I did with the first Venom, but I still don't like either.
That first Venom movie, it's really weird, man. I have grown to love that movie. It's not great, but it's really entertaining. It's a really good 2002 sci-fi superhero movie.
Yeah. That's what everyone said. Like if it came out in the early 2000s,
it's just fun.
That one would have worked better with Raimi's Spider-Man. That Venom, this Venom, that one would have worked better with that version of Spider-Man, in my opinion. So it's got that same kind of, it's got Raimi's feel to it.
If you maybe kind of, I like the origin of Raimi's Venom a lot more than the origin of this Venom. So maybe there's a hybrid somewhere out there between the two.
I just hate Topher Grace. I really just don't like him.
I don't mind Topher Grace at all, actually.
So terrible. He was so bad. Oh God. I don't want to talk about that movie. That was one of the more disappointing movie-going experiences with Spider-Man 3.
I've gotten a lot softer on Spider-Man 3 over the years. I used to not like it a lot, but I've really kind of grown to really enjoy it. And it's a really nice farewell for Harry.
Yeah, that part's probably...
It's a good Harry Peter story, in my opinion. The Gwen Stacy stuff's a little rushed. The Venom stuff is a little rushed. But the love triangle works really well, if you ask me. No, it's not even a love triangle, but just that friendship triangle between the three of them.
Yeah, I mean, that the way it did end that story, which is really what the first three films is about.
Which I think kind of goes back to Raimi and how good of a director he is. I think he salvaged a lot of that film. I think a lot of it's his fault. The Venom stuff he didn't care about really, and you could kind of tell it's not really his jam. But I think if that movie was directed by a lesser director, it would have been a huge, huge mess. Now I just think it's a miss.
Keep the lesson should always be to keep Avi Arad away from these films, because
I wish I had Avi's bank account.
That's the reason why Amazing Spider-Man 2 is so bad. He wanted all of that.
I wish I could fail upwards like Avi.
All of
I wish I could fail.
You're right.
I wish I could do. There's some producers in Hollywood that just fail up, and you're like, "How'd you do it?"
I know.
How did I fail at life?
It's crazy. It is. It's a crazy thing. But well, we've come to the end of the line on this one.
You know what that means?
What does that mean?
It's Ookshes, baby. We've reached the entrance. The gates of apocalypse are going to open, and he's going to welcome us home.
Okay, but first let everyone know where they can talk to you about this.
if you want to engage me in my demented Uxisian theories and conspiracies, you can follow me on social media. That's at Pete Illustrated on Twitter, Instagram, Mastodon, MySpace, LiveJournal, AIM, and Zack Snyder's favorite platform, Vero. I'm all over the place, baby. I'm Uxising out. If you like Hasbulla, check out my Instagram page. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. Check out the Batman Book Club. I'm there monthly with Mr. Ryan Lauer, who loves cereal. Check out the Italian Spider-Man Coalition at Italians for Spidey on Twitter. That's a sideshow I do with Nicholas and Nico Caruso. That's a lot of fun. We just talk Spider-Man stuff over there. At Team Yellow Oval is getting really exciting because Kid's back, baby. He's here. The GOAT, the real Batman. Come on, let's get with it already. And don't forget, Batman 89, huge hit back in the day. Huge hit. I'm all over BatmanOnFilm.com and Batman on Film YouTube. I'm just like, I'm having a ball, baby. And, maybe the Yankees will get on track. Aaron Boone got suspended. I was happy. Let's see what happens. And, Eric's favorite cornerback and his favorite quarterback also share a Sue Storm connection that I think he'll tell you about in a little bit.
You mean Sauce?
Is that who I said? Quarterback and cornerback share a Sue Storm connection.
Yes. This is an interesting story, actually.
So we saved it for the end. We saved it for Eric's post-credit scene.
Yes. So, as you guys know, I talk about I'm a Knicks fan. So this all happened at Madison Square Garden. So Sauce Gardner, who's the Jets' #1 pick last year, also NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, was at the Knicks game with Aaron Rodgers, and they had an encounter with Jessica Alba, and Sauce Gardner did not know who she was.
Which is ridiculous because she's like insanely hot.
Yes, he had no idea who she was. So Aaron Rodgers apparently was picking Sauce Gardner's brain about Jessica Alba, and he was like, well, what's her name? He asked Aaron Rodgers what her name was. And it's kind of funny. Like, the story's kind of funny, but they wound up talking, obviously, and she said that he was a very sweet guy, but he had no idea who she was.
So then Aaron Rodgers gifted him with Sue Storm cleats. Yes,
he did. He gave him Sue Storm and Honey, actually, from the movie Honey. Because that's who he did. Like, this whole story goes, Sauce didn't know that she was the same person who was in Honey. I don't know if anyone has ever seen that movie. It's kind of bad, actually, but
I've never seen it. No.
Yeah, she's a dance instructor in the Bronx, I believe. Mekhi Phifer's in it. I've seen it. I
love Mekhi Phifer.
Yeah, but so is Bow Wow, I think.
Oh God, that means it's horrible.
But yeah, so it was an interesting story that happened. But it's just crazy. It was crazy to read that he didn't know who she was, like you said, especially since she's so damn hot.
I bet you she knows who Eric Holzman is.
She might now.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, champion of Long Island. I've been trying to meet him. I've been trying to go to Islanders games, but I never find him.
You guys would never see me again if I got to meet Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba's like, where's the Holzman? I've been trying to catch you. Can you imagine Jessica Alba running around Long Island trying to catch Holzman?
Oh man,
I love that Holzman is taken off. I think Holzman might be my greatest invention.
Holzman go, yes.
Holzman go. Holzman.
So right now I'm gonna go and tell you where you can find me. You can find me on Twitter at Finally33, spelled Finale33. As I mentioned, I'm a Knicks fan. I do a Knicks show every Wednesday night called All Nicked Up. So if you're interested in getting at me about that, it's at all_nicked_up. I do that show with my buddy Ty. We talk about the Knicks every week.
You still doing it in the off season?
Yeah, we might do it like we're doing this now. We might do it every 2 weeks instead of every week because there's less to talk about. But yeah, we're still going to continue it.
Let's wait till free agency, I guess.
Yeah, free agency is coming up, so we'll do that. As Pete mentioned, interact with us guys on Facebook and the Straight Outta Gotham group and the show page. The group, that's where we interact with all our fans. We love talking to you guys.
A lot of people have been joining lately.
Yes.
Numbers been going up.
There's been very good conversations over there as well. Matt Putz recently put up a question about Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones 5, which are like hype level for Indiana Jones 5. So if you guys want to,
I'm hyped. I'm pumped.
So go in there and add to the conversation. It was very good, very productive conversation. Have a good time over there talking with you all and interacting with you guys there. Don't forget, if you want to be on Straight Outta Gotham, send us your audition tapes, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it is. It's an audition tape.
Send us your audition tapes. Tell us why you like the show. Make fun of us if you want to. If it's clever and funny, we'll.
But you can never have been on the show, and you can't have a podcast. You have to actually be just a listener.
Yes. So if you already have a podcast,
so sorry. Steve Helm's out.
So, but he's never been on this show.
He's been on your Star Wars show, and we're planning on doing a show later with him. He's out.
But he hasn't been on this show.
He's got enough FaceTime under our logo. And he pops in whenever he wants. So Steve's out.
Okay.
Steve gets a lot of love. Steve's out.
Sorry, Steve. We're gonna have you on anyway, but sorry.
Yeah, Steve.
You're doing our Gotham Knights. You're doing our Gotham Knights recap, so you'll be there.
He's basically our intern.
He's basically the Gotham Knights correspondent. Yes, that's basically what he is.
He's our man in the street.
Basically, yes.
He's already a part of the show. He's out.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. You can't submit. But any of the rest of you who haven't been on the show, who don't have a podcast of your own.
We're basically waiting for Jacob Miller.
Yes.
We're waiting for Jacob Miller's audition tape.
And you guys want to actually test this out too. Maybe it's something you do want to do and you don't know about it yet. You're not sure how you'd be on air. Send us your stuff. Send us your audition tape. Again, make it funny, make it interesting. Be yourself though at the end. Don't put on the show.
I mean, if you want to do an impression of me, go for it.
Yeah. Just don't. We'll be able to tell immediately if it's not who you really are. So just be yourselves, and we'll see how it goes. And we'll pick a winner, maybe multiple winners. Maybe we'll do first, second, third, and then have you guys on in different weeks. We'll see how this works out, but it's something fun. Pete and I want to give back a little bit, so this will be a fun little thing for us to do. So get those in.
Oh, Garrett's out too, by the way.
He does the Batman on Film podcast.
He does his own podcast. Sorry, he's got multiple podcasts.
Yes, yep. He does a. You
have no idea how good that felt to say.
I don't understand this whole thing, but it's fine. I'm just along for the ride, I guess.
That's it. Just ride along.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up. So, Pete, unless you have anything else,
Ooksis.
All right. So for Pete, I'm Eric. You're listening to Straight Outta Gotham. And we will see you next time.
Booyah!